At around 9:25 p.m. on October 14th, 2014, a European Championship qualification match between Serbia and Albania in the Partizan Stadium Belgrade had just kicked off, and the atmosphere was febrile. The two countries shared a hostile history, centuries of colonisation, wars and conflict, and most recently the 1999 Kosovo War, waged between Belgrade and its ethnic Albanian population in the south. That conflict led to thousands of deaths, mass displacement, and the NATO bombing of Serbia. Kosovo unilaterally declared independence from Serbia in 2008, and a deep well of resentment remained on both sides. Albania and Serbia had not played each other since the 1960s, and because the two countries had not been directly at war with each other recently, UEFA had not separated them in the draw for Euro 2016, as they did, for example, with Armenia and Azerbaijan, or Ukraine and Russia, although the game was deemed high risk enough to ban away fans. The packed stadium booed the Albanian anthem and chanted death threats. But then, in the 42nd minute, the stadium fell silent. A quadcopter drone was gliding down over the pitch, carrying a red and black flag festooned with Albanian ultranationalist symbols, including the word autochthonous, derived from the ancient Greek word that means native. The silence was broken when Serbia defender Stefan Mitrovic grabbed the flag and pulled the drone down. A brawl erupted over the flag, the crowd invaded the pitch, and the Albanian players were attacked as the referee halted the game. The match was abandoned and Serbian police searched the dressing room looking for the drone's remote control, thinking the pilot was close by. When the drone controller wasn't found, the blame centered on the Albanian delegation in the stadium, which included the Albanian Prime Minister's brother. But nothing was found on him either. The Serbian authorities claimed the drone was the scenario of a terrorist action planned in advance. But the drone pilot was already making his escape. He was not a member of the Albanian delegation or related to a powerful political family. He was a working-class crane operator living in Italy who'd invented a crazy plan and now sparked a diplomatic crisis. Four years earlier, Ismail Marina had just got home and turned on the TV after finishing his shift on a Milanese building site. Italy were playing Serbia, but the match was abandoned after 7 minutes because of crowd violence. At the front, two notorious Serbian hooligans scaled a fence and using a flare, they burned the Albanian flag. The act so incensed Marina, who was also a member of the Red and Black, the ultra group of the Albanian national team, that he began plotting his revenge. Although it wasn't until February 2014, when the qualifying draw for Euro 2016 was made and Albania and Serbia were paired in the same group, that his plan came together. Marina came up with the drone plan after seeing some children fly a drone in a local park. He bought one, practiced flying it, and designed a banner with Albanian ultranationalist heroes on it. He travelled to Belgrade and scoped out the Partizan Stadium, looking for a vantage point to fly the drone. He settled on the Church of the Archangel Gabriel, a few metres from the Partizan Stadium's entrance. A few days before the match, Marina and a friend, the getaway driver, drove to Belgrade. They were stopped and searched along the way, but they were let through with the drone. Then, the night before the match, Marina took his drone and flag and hid in the church for 17 hours before kickoff, waiting for the match to begin. When it did, he flew the drone into the stadium and pandemonium erupted. He left the controller in the church, returned to the car, and escaped south into Kosovo as the police tore the stadium apart looking for him. At first, the Serbian authorities suspected that it had been an elaborate provocation, backed by a state actor, or perhaps the CIA, MI6, or NATO. But 6 months later, Marina came clean in the Albanian press, admitting that he was the pilot. Instantly, he became a national hero. He was swamped everywhere he went. Albanian rappers even featured him in their music videos. His autochthonous flag was sold on seemingly every street corner in Tirana, Albania's capital city. But not everyone in Albania was happy. You see, a year after the Belgrade match, Serbia was due to play the return fixture in Albania. Marina was at the height of his fame. Serbia were given a 3-0 walkover after the game was abandoned on the grounds that Albania refused to resume. But after an appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, that decision was reversed, and Serbia were also given a 3-point deduction and ordered to play 2 games behind closed doors. Serbs were incensed, but Albania were now on the verge of qualifying for their first ever major championship, and most of the country thought that Marina should take some of the credit. But the day before the match, Albanian police arrested Marina and charged him with illegal weapons possession. It later emerged that the authorities were looking for any pretext to arrest him in case he planned a repeat of his Belgrade shenanigans. Albania did indeed qualify for Euro 2016, but Marina's story didn't end there. He spent the following months in jail before being released under house arrest. When he tried to return to Italy undocumented via the border between Croatia and Montenegro, he was arrested again by Croatian officials. But this time it was at the behest of Serbia. Unbeknownst to him, an Interpol red notice had been issued for his detention and extradition to Serbia to stand trial for the drone incident. For months he sat in a Dubrovnik jail as a diplomatic row raged between Albania, Croatia and Serbia. Marina, who'd received thousands of death threats, including from the Serbian mafia, feared that he would be murdered as soon as he was jailed in Belgrade. And in July 2018, after protracted negotiations between the Croatian and Albanian prime ministers, Marina was eventually deported to Italy. After a brief stay in an Italian prison, he was allowed to return to his family in Milan, where the story began. Even now, Marina says that he still fears for his life, but he doesn't regret his part in perhaps the greatest act of trolling in the history of football. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and James Horncastle. With the latest transfer news and insight on every Premier League football story that matters, theathletic.com puts you inside football, and you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.